Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back. Got another video. NBA draft just happened yesterday. Had to take some time to sleep on it. I got y'all today I'm gonna be grading all the draft picks of the first round because they split it up. First round was yesterday, second round is today. So I'll be grading all the picks of the first round. Let's get into it. Number 1, we got Cooper Flag to the Dallas Mavericks. We've been known Cooper's going number 1 for the longest, man. He's been the best player in the class, was the best player in college. This was an easy pick, number 1. I don't need to say too much on it. We know who Cooper is. Could keep it A+ for the Dallas Mavericks. Number 2, Dylan Harper to the San Antonio Spurs. I know people are saying, oh, the Spurs already got too many guards. They got Russell, Fox, Castle. I think Dylan Harper is just such a good talent that you can't pass on him. Like, even with the logjam in the guards, you can move one of them to the 3, and I think it would fit. They are some bigger guards. Dylan Harper 6'5", Castle 6'5". One of them can't play the 3. I think it'll still work, and I think the pairing with him and Wemby is still great. So I'm also gonna give this one an A+. 3, VJ Edgecombe. VJ Edgecombe got drafted by the 76ers. I know before some things happened, it was looking like Ace Bailey was going to go 3rd. He didn't go to any workouts. Canceled on the 76 workout the day of. And so things there didn't go so well. So everyone knew he was going to drop. And VJ slid up. I think VJ is a really good prospect. And I think he is still, although he probably would have gone 4 behind Ace, I still think he is that good of a prospect. And I'm going to give them an A. 4. Kon Knueppel. Knueppel played for Duke with Cooper Flag. When Cooper Flag went out, he was able to step up. I think he is one of the best shooters in the draft. Going to the Hornets, who already have LaMelo and Brandon Miller, I think he can fit in real well on and off ball. If LaMelo's off the court, he can do some more on-ball duties. And when LaMelo's on the court, he is, again, one of the best pure catch and shooters in the draft. I think he fits in really well. And I also want to premise this. I know sometimes I be looking at these grades people be giving, right? And they be saying oh, this is the best guy. This team could have picked this position. Like let's say pick 21. If you pick the 21st best player, pick 21. I feel like that should be an A+ every time, because who else were you supposed to pick? You know what I mean? So if my picks may differ from other ones you see, that may be because if I think it is the best pick a team can pick at that time, then I'm going to give it the high grade. So this one, I will give them an A+ because I really like the fit on the Hornets. Number 5, Ace Bailey to the Jazz. I know he did say, well, his camp said he did not want to go to the Jazz beforehand. The Jazz still picked him. The Jazz have Lauri Markkanen. They just re-signed John Collins, Walker Kessler. They got Keontae George. They picked up Cody Williams last year. They got an assortment of players. Isaiah Collier, Taylor Hendricks, who's still injured, I believe. They got an assortment of players. And Ace Bailey was the best player available. Although he did not say he wanted to go there, he was the best player available. I'm not sure how much I do like the fit for the Jazz. I would have preferred they picked a guard, just because Keontae George and Isaiah Collier, I'm not sure how much I trust them to be the guards of the future, as well as Colin Sexton. They also got Filipowski. I like it, especially after Cody Williams' poor season. Although I would have wanted to pick a guard, so I'm going to give it an A just because of how good Ace Bailey is. 6, we got Trey Johnson to the Wizards. The Wizards did just trade Jordan Poole, and they're now picking up Trey Johnson, another one pure scorer, one of the best scorers in the draft, one of the best shooters in the draft. And honestly, I really like it. Although they do have a couple guards, I think he is better than any of the guards they do have on their team. They got Sarr. They got the Unks with Chris Middleton, Brogdon, Valanciunas, and CJ McCollum. I don't think any of those guys in the future. The future for the Wizards is Sarr, Keontae George, Bob Carrington, maybe AJ Johnson, and now you're adding Trey Johnson to that. I do like it. I think we probably pick someone who's a better fit, but I think Trey Johnson is that good. I'm going to give them an A-. At 7, we got Jeremiah Fears to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans obviously just received Jordan Poole. They still got Zion, Trey Murphy. They drafted Missy last year. They got Herb Jones. They got an assortment of players over there. I think one of the positions they have been looking for a while. They've gone through CJ, they've gone through DeJounte, they've been looking for that point guard position. I think Jeremiah Fears is a really good point guard. Although, what scares me about Jeremiah Fears is he was a below average 3-point shooter in college, and although he was aggressive at getting to the rim, drew a high quantity of fouls and free throws. His rim percentage wasn't too high. He was one of the lowest we've seen, but he was a high usage player. I think his fit next to Zion, if he can figure out the shooting, will be good. But if not, I don't like the fit. I'm gonna be honest. With him being a slasher, you got Zion, who's a slasher. You got Missy, who's not really a space stretcher as well. I think you would have wanted a better shooting point guard, but he is a really good playmaker. Overall, I'll give this pick a B for the Pelicans. At 8, we got Igor Demon to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if I'm looking at this pick in a vacuum without looking at the other Nets picks, not too bad of a pick, you know what I mean? Sure, I think it's a little high for him. I don't think he's good, he was not the best player still available on the board for the Nets, but they do want that point guard position, and they did fill it. So I'm looking at the vacuum. I'm not going to speak on the other picks because the Nets did break the record for most first round picks in one draft. They had 5. So I'm not just looking at this number 8 pick by itself. I'm going to give it a B-. I think Demon is an interesting player, but I think the league keeps getting duped by these players, these bigger passing point guards who aren't very good defenders, aren't really good shooters, aren't really good scorers. Their main thing is they're big and they can pass. It's kind of like the Ben Simmons, but worse, or like the Josh Giddey. If they can put it together, they will be an elite player. But how many times do we see them put it together? That's the question. And do we think the Nets are the team that's helping them put it together? So overall, I'm gonna give it a B- just because I think they need that point guard. They didn't have much for young players apart from Cam. They have Cam Thomas, Nicholas Claxton. Nicholas Claxton's not even that young anymore. So that's why the only reason I'm giving them a B-, even though I don't like the prospect that much, is because they need the position. At 9, we got the Toronto Raptors drafting CMB, and CMB is an interesting prospect. One of the best defensive prospects in the draft, obviously. Extremely good defender. He can come in and already be all NBA, all defense. It's just the offense he needs to put together. It's the shooting. He's a physical player, 6'6", 6'7". For the Raptors, though, I feel like they have too much of that wing position already. They already got Scotty Barnes. They got RJ Barrett. They got Brandon Ingram. Then you drafted another 6'7" long wing. Yes, he's really good defensively, but I would prefer if they drafted a guard or a big. More preferably a guard or a big. So although I do like CMB, I also do think this was too high for him. So I'm going to give them a B- for this pick. At 10, we got Kamen Malauk to the Suns. It's the Rockets pick, traded to the Suns. For the Suns, they also made a trade to get Mark Williams. They've now reinvented their center core with Malauk, Man, and Mark Williams. I do like that for the Suns. They picked up 2 really good centers. I do think they are pretty similar. I'm pretty sure in my draft video I called Malauk a bigger, taller Mark Williams. So they picked up both. I think that is good. Malauk will probably come off the bench while Mark Williams starts his first year. I do like it for the Suns, and I do think he was one of the better players available at 10. So for the Suns, I will be giving them A grade. At 11, we got Cedric Coward to the Memphis Grizzlies through a trade with the Trailblazers. The Grizzlies traded off from 16 with the Trailblazers, who traded back, and they picked Cedric Coward. Coward is an older player, an older 3-and-D player, but for the Grizzlies, I do think this fits in well. You obviously had Jalen Wells, who's coming off the wrist injury. Then you have Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams, who both had a down year. I think he immediately comes in and can be that immediate 3-and-D threat that the Grizzlies need at that wing position, which they have been struggling with for a little while. They probably move on from Vince Williams Jr. unless he does have a extremely good bounce back season. I think Gigi Jackson can put the ball on the floor a little bit more than these other guys, so I think he can move to a more 4 spot, more of like a point forward, while the other guys are more of a 3-and-D. And I think he fits in really well. So for the Grizzlies, although I think he would have been available later on, even if they didn't trade up, actually because of that, I'm going to give them a B+. I was going to give them an A-, but I'm going to give them a B+ just because I think he still would have been available later than 11. But I do really like the fit, and I do really like him as a player. At 12, we got the Bulls selecting Noah Senge from France. He is a little bit of a project for the Bulls, but the Bulls got time, man. They're not in a rush for anything. I think for the Bulls, I definitely think this was the best pick available for him. He is a 4, maybe he can play a bit of 5. He is an extremely good defensive prospect, athletic. I would like to see how him and Matas play together. I would either want, because I want them to either pick like a 4 or 5, so I like the fit. So for the Bulls, I'm gonna give them an A-. Calm. I'm not enamored with Senge as a product. As a prospect, I think there were slightly better prospects, but I do like his fit with the Bulls. At 13, we got Derek Queen to the Pelicans through the Hawks. The Pelicans made the trade to trade up for Derek Queen with the Hawks. And for the Pelicans, I want to include the trade, but they traded a next year's pick that could be the Bucks pick, and we don't know what's going to be happening with the Bucks next year. And just to trade up just a couple spots for Derek Queen, I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it for the Pelicans. I don't like his fit with the Pelicans. I don't think, because he's not a floor spacer even a little bit. You still got Zion, then you also drafted Jeremiah Fears, and you still have Missy, where's it's not a really good shooting team. I don't like his fit, although, and I already said it previously, I'm not that enamored with Derek Queen as a prospect either. For the spot, I think he is a really good prospect, so picking him at 13 isn't crazy, but I just don't like the fit with the Pelicans, and then you gave up too much to trade for him. I'm going to give this one a C+, just because he is a good player still. But I don't like the fit, and I think you could have picked a better player out here. At 14, we got the San Antonio Spurs selecting Carter Bryant. This, for me, was one of the steals of the draft. They let Carter Bryant drop to 14 and go to the Spurs. Carter Bryant is a really raw prospect, but he is a really good prospect. Has shown defensive versatility, intensity, can show that he can be a 3-and-D player. And I think next to Harper, you got the guards, you got Wemby as a big man, and then you immediately get that perfect wing that they need. I think this was almost a match made in heaven for the Spurs. The fact that they got him at 14, other GMs should be smacking themselves for it. This is one of those guys you just pick up just so the Spurs don't let them have. So for the Spurs, I'm gonna have to give this one an A++++. I think this was an extremely good pick. The best player they could have got, perfect fit, and getting him at 14, great value. So A+ for the Spurs. At 15, we got Thomas Sorber to the Thunder. Another really good pick here. The Thunder get a big man. I know they have Hartenstein, they have Chet, but that Hartenstein contract is kind of big. They're probably going to be facing second apron problems in the future. And so having a backup big like Thomas Sorber who can step up when you have to probably lose that Hartenstein in the future is a great pick. Extremely big guy, great wingspan, good athlete. He doesn't need to come in and immediately contribute. He can just be there, learning, developing, and then when he can step up, he'll step up perfectly. And I think this was a really good pick for the Thunder. I think there were better players, but the Thunder don't need a better player right now. What they need, a good person like this who can just wait for his turn. I think that's perfect for the Thunder, so I'm going to give them an A. At 16, we got the Portland Trailblazers drafting Yang Hansen from the Chinese Basketball League. This pick was originally the Grizzlies pick, which they traded with the 11th to get Cedric Coward. And then the Trailblazers just picked Yang Hansen, one of the biggest jumps in the draft. Most people haven't predicted going second round. I know I did. He plays in the Chinese Basketball Association, the CBA. So there's been some questions about the level of competition that he plays over there. He is a decent player. He's been called Baby Jokic, 7'2", a decent defender, can handle the ball, can pass it. When he did play, he played in Summer League. I'm gonna be honest, he didn't look that good. Going to the Trailblazers, they already have Aiden, Robert Williams. They just got Donovan Clingan. There's a little bit of a logjam at that center position, so I expect them to move at least one of those players. But overall, just because I think it was a reach, he would probably be there later. They did trade back for 16. I do think they could have traded back even more to like mid-20s for this pick. So if they wanted him, they still definitely could have gone later. They have a log jam at the position. So overall, I will give them a C+ on this, just because I do have, honestly, I have at least a decent amount of faith that he will become a decent player. I just think you could have gotten him later, and you still have many sevens. At 17, the Timberwolves drafted Johan Beringer, who is a 6'10" center from France. I think Rudy Gobert probably has something to do with that one. They bring him, and they can probably move Naz Reid to the 4 now, have him as their backup center. And obviously you would want a more mobile center, someone who can do a little bit more on offense. He is still a little raw now, but I think he can learn. He projects to be a good defender, especially if he's learning from Rudy Gobert. So I think this is a good pick for the Timberwolves. I do think they were better big men on the board, like Asa Newell was still there. So I think they could have went a different route, but I don't think this was a bad pick. So for the Timberwolves, I'm going to give them a B on this pick. At 18, the Jazz selected Walter Clayton with a trade with the Wizards. Walter Clayton obviously was one of the best players in the NCAA tournament, March Madness. He went crazy. He's a older guard, but he has proven so that he can come in and immediately be that guy. He can immediately contribute at an NBA level. A good shooter, can grade his own shot, can pass. He's shown that he can lead a team. You can rely on him in those clutch moments. And he's going to a team with the Jazz who already got Ace Bailey. Honestly, I like it. I said that I want them to pick a guard, and he is one of the best guards there. He is just a little older, that's his only problem, but he is a really good player. So for the Jazz, I will give them a B+ on this pick. At 19, the Nets selected Nolan Traore, one of my favorite prospects in the draft. But my problem with this pick is that Nolan Traore does stuff very similar. He's not in play style, but in talent level, like you can say, skill set, is similar to Igor Demon in the way that they're both high passing, playmaking guards who have scoring problems right now. Obviously, I think Nolan Traore projects to be a better scorer than Igor Demon, but the Nets just drafted two really good playmakers who right now haven't shown that they are good at much else. Well, let me not say that. They've shown that they can be at least decent on defense, great in the pick and roll, good IQ, but you can say the same for both of them, that their scoring has been very underwhelming, and that when you get to that NBA level, to be a really good playmaker, you need that scoring as well. So they did just draft two of those players. I won't go too hard on them yet, but it's just when their later picks come up then. So overall, I'll give the Nets a B- on this pick just because I really like Nolan Traore. And at 20, we got Kasparas Jakuinis or something like that, man. Don't get on my ass, man. But he was drafted by the Heat out of Illinois. He had Illinois for the first start of the season, looking like one of the best teams out there. He was looking like a top 10 pick. They cooled down later, but he is still a really good player. I believe I said in my draft video, I said he was like poor man's Manu. I really like him. Right now, the scoring isn't there, but I believe that he will add it to his bag. He's a really good passer. He can run a really good offense, and I think going to that Heat team, you can move Hero to the 2, Davion Mitchell off the bench. I think that they really need a primary playmaker, because although they do have Tyler Hero, I don't think he is that primary playmaker. I think he is more of a scorer. And Davion Mitchell, I don't think you want. I think he is a really good player, but I don't think you want him to be your team's primary playmaker if you want to be a good team. I think Kaz can do that. He can come in and be that really good playmaker for him. So for the Heat, I'm going to give them a B+ on this. And if I'm just talking about skill level, I think he is one of the better players still available. Because personally, I thought he would have went in the lottery. But getting him at 20, I think is really good value. So yeah, a B+ for the Miami Heat. At 21, we got Will Riley to the Wizards. Other half of that Jazz Wizards trade. Will Riley, Canadian. I've seen quite a bit of his film, and I really like him. He's a good finisher. He's 6'8", 6'9", can shoot, a good athlete. And coming into that Wizards team, I think he is a really good wing. You're going to have Sar. You're going to have Keontae George. My fault. You're going to have Trey Johnson. So I think adding a scoring wing does fit well. He needs to get better on defense, but I think he does have all the tools to be that good defender. Overall, I'm going to give this pick a B. Overall, I think maybe you could have gotten him slightly later, but at 21, I think that is around where I would suspect him to go. So for the Wizards, I like it, B overall. At 22, we got Drake Powell to the Nets with a trade. It was originally the Hawks, but straight to the Nets. I like Drake Powell. I think he is one of those players which down the line, he becomes one of those players that's integral on a championship team. A really good defender, a good finisher, and has shown that eventually he will be at least average to good shooter. And I really like that. I like this pick from the Nets. This is my favorite Nets pick of their 5 from the draft. Getting him at 22, I think, is good value for him. That's why I had him late first round. And honestly, the only problem I have is you already drafted 2 non-shooting guards, and then you draft Drake Powell, who is having shooting struggles as well. Like, I would have preferred they drafted some better shooters, but I still like this pick. I'm going to give it a B. At 23, I have what I think is a steal of the draft with a Hawks pick, trade with the Pelicans, is Ayson Newell. If you watch my draft video, you'll know I had the Hawks picking Ayson Newell, but I had him picking him the first time at 13. And to still get him at 23, I think is perfect. They get that other big. He's around 6'9", 6'10", can move, can screen. Playing with Trae Young, the screen and roll will be elite. He can catch lobs. He is a really mobile big man. And I think it is one of the best fits for him. So I'm going to give this an A+ pick for the Hawks. I think this is one of the best situations you could have went to. At 24, we got Nick Clifford to the Kings, although it wasn't originally a Thunder pick. I really like this pick for the Kings. Nick Clifford, senior. He is already solidified. I think he is one of those players who immediately comes in and is a good NBA player. But my only problem is, what are the Kings' plans for the future? You're picking someone who I think is going to come in and immediately be good, but your team is not going to immediately be good. Like, you got Sabonis, DeRozan, Levine, and now you're adding Nick. I feel like this is just that. This is a 9-10. This is a 9 to 12 seed team. They're not making any long pushes, but I think that is what the Kings have shown, that they aren't a team that wants to bottom out and then go through. They're fine with the little taste of success they can get, a little bit of mediocrity. So although I'd rather them pick someone with higher upside and then try to rebuild, I do think he is a really good player. I think this was a really good pick for where he went, and I'm gonna give it a B. At 25, we got the Orlando Magic taking Jason Richardson, and I love this pick for the Magic. They get a guard who's shown he can score on all 3 levels, is a great shooter, fast, quick. He's not the same level of athlete as his dad. His dad's more of an above the rim athlete. He's more below the rim, but he is a good finisher, can score in the mid-range, can score off the dribble, can score for 3. Although he is small, he's going to be in a really big team. Obviously, you got 6'10" Franz, 6'5" Suggs, 6'10" Paolo. You got Jonathan Isaac, Wendell, Anthony Black, like this Tristan da Silva. Like, it's a big team. It's a good defensive team to hide some of his defensive mistakes that he might have. And then he is a really good shooter. The only thing I want him to get better at is playmaking. He wasn't a very underwhelming playmaker in college. But you also do have really good playmakers now. You just got Desmond Bane, who's another great playmaker. So I love this pick for Magic. I'm giving it an A+. I think this was the perfect fit, the best player they could have taken here. At 26, the Nets took Ben Sirof. Ben Sirof is a big passing point guard. Not really that good. He's decent defensively. Underwhelming shooter. Not really that good of a scorer. Does this sound familiar? Yes, because they had already picked 2 of this exact same players earlier in the draft. Not gonna say too much. I was very disappointed when I saw them pick them. Like, you've now picked 4 not very good shooters, and now you've also picked one who literally does the same as the first 2 players you picked. I'm not like, I guess they want the playmaking, but you already have 2 playmakers, and then they pick another playmaker, which we're gonna get to. So this pick, I'm giving it a D. And let's just roll straight into 27. Let's pick Danny Wolf, who is basically a 7-foot point guard. Not really that good of a defender, but for his skills, I like his skills. He can put the ball on the floor, he can lead an offense at 7 foot, but he is another just underwhelming shooter. He can finish because he is 7 foot. He can put the ball on the floor, TV off the dribble, but he's another like passing big. And how much playmaking do you need on one team? I would have preferred if they got some more shooters or more defenders. So this one, I'm giving it a D+. Just got like Danny Wolf better than Ben Sirof, but still, I think it was not a good fit for the Nets. With 28, the Boston Celtics select Hugo Gonzalez out of Spain. Hugo is a 6'7", 6'6" guard. He can shoot the ball, he can dribble. Honestly, the Celtics, I'm not sure what the Celtics plan for the season. It looks like they might trade one of Derek White and Jaylen Brown as well, after already trading Holiday and Porzingis. With that being said, I like them picking this young foreign player, because if they do, they're probably going to be a below-average team. He probably can get a lot of minutes on this team and develop. That when Jason Tatum does come back, he can be probably a piece that they rebuild. So I do like this pick for the for the Celtics. Nets got so many picks, got me saying for the Celtics, so I will give them a B+ for this pick. At 29, for the Suns, which was traded to the Hornets, we got Liam McNeely, another really good pick I like for the Hornets. Honestly, I might blow past these last 2. Liam McNeely, I think he's a good fit for the Hornets. Probably can come off that bench. I'm giving it a B+. And then for 30 for 30, last pick of the draft, they packed. Let me get this name right. Yannick Conan Niederhauser from Penn State. I'm gonna be honest. When they drafted him, I never heard the name. So I had to go watch some film. He looks decent. He looks like a decent player. Can go like. Seems like he's 22. I saw older, but he seems like he's new to it. He's still raw. He looks like he can learn from Zubac, who seems like more of a traditional big, but more mobile. For the Clippers, off the bench, I can see it. I'm not too happy. I think there were better picks that win the second round. I'm gonna give it a B-. And that is it, guys. Hauled 30 picks in the first round graded. Sorry, my voice started to go at the end there. But yeah, let me know what you think. Agree, disagree, like, comment, share, subscribe.